Caitlin Clark was taking the ball up the court. She was the one who was creating a lot of these fast break buckets. And Caitlin Clark ended the game with 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. They played fever basketball for, I would say, about 75 to 80% of the game. And we have obviously seen the style of basketball that we all know and love from the Indiana Fever, but we have only really seen it in short spurts.
The mask is off. The media's golden child just faced her first taste of real WNBA defense, and it wasn't pretty. Paige Bueckers, branded by ESPN as the next Caitlin Clark, put up just 11 points on 2 for 11 shooting, 0 assists, 2 rebounds. That's not superstardom, that's exposure. So here's the question. Was this just one bad night, or did the Seattle Storm just reveal a reality the media doesn't want you to see? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Why was Paige Bueckers handed a crown before she even stepped into the spotlight?
Caitlin Clark's first bucket of the night was a long three-pointer, and she was excited for that. A lot of fans were excited for that because it still seems like she's not shooting at the highest clip. They played fever basketball for, I would say, about 75 to 80% of the game, and we have obviously seen the style of basketball that we all know and love from the Indiana Fever, but we have only really seen it in short spurts. It is also only Caitlin Clark's third game back from injury, and this season for the Indiana Fever has been a roller coaster ride.
That's the question that kept popping up when outlets started running stories about her, like she was already the face of the league. ESPN dropped headline after headline, and some even went as far as calling her the one who could save the season. Think about that. Before she had played a single pro game, the conversation was already loud. The next Caitlin Clark had arrived. But what did this hype come from exactly? A highlight package and a couple flashy moves? That's not proof, that's promotion. Because here's where the cracks start showing. Caitlin Clark, in her very first games, was targeted relentlessly. Opponents pressed her full court, switched defenders, doubled her out of screens, and forced her into making tough decisions every single time she touched the ball. The numbers back it up. Clark has been dealing with elite defenders in her face from day one. Paige didn't see that. At UConn and early on, she got clean looks, time to set her feet, and wide open drives. Media outlets acted like those two paths were the same.
But in this game, they were playing quick. They were moving the ball around. They had so many points off of the fast break, and they actually broke a league record. She also had a big block, and that was also like a good momentum shift for the Indiana Fever. Moment between the two of them that I think fans would have gotten really hyped for. But I will say, if we are just looking at this game, if we are looking at where these two players are in their WNBA careers,
they were not. How did ESPN pull this off? It's simple. The broadcast team rolled clips of her best plays, cut the turnovers, skipped the missed shots, and built this narrative of a superstar who hadn't proven herself yet. Even interviews were tailored to fit the story. Smiling features, bold taglines, and constant comparisons to Clark, even though the situations were night and day. When you see enough flashy reels without the rough edges, you start believing that version of a player actually exists. And that's the kicker. The hype wasn't built on the hardwood, it was built on editing rooms, social feeds, and a need to create another phenomenon. But once real pressure showed up, everything that had been constructed started to crumble. And that's exactly what Seattle exposed. What exactly did the Seattle Storm do that made Paige Bueckers look so overmatched?
There has been ups, there has been downs, there has been times that we have been so confused on what is actually going on with this team. Caitlin Clark was taking the ball up the court. She was the one who was creating a lot of these fast break buckets. And Caitlin Clark ended the game with 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. Like we normally see Caitlin Clark, but she did have 2 3-pointers tonight, and she was 4 for 12 from the field. So like I said, she's still not shooting at the percentage as she normally would.
From the opening tip, it was clear they weren't treating her like a rookie who needed time to adjust. They gave her the same style of defense that Caitlin Clark has already been dealing with all season, and Paige wasn't ready for it. Seattle came in with a plan, pressure her on the perimeter, bump her every time she tried to cut, and never let her feel comfortable with the ball. At first, Paige came out looking loose.
There's just such a noticeable difference of when Caitlin Clark is on the floor, how she play makes with her team, the kind of passes that she passes to her team. And this is by no means saying that Paige isn't a great player. I think that she is one of the top guards in the WNBA already, and I think Paige is going to continue to improve in the WNBA. Caitlin is still the better player. While Paige Bueckers put up more points than Caitlin this game, she had 21, Caitlin ended with 14. The way that the floor opens up when Caitlin is on the floor because of how the defenses have to adjust to guard her. That is the difference. Like, that is the difference maker between Caitlin and Paige.
She took her first couple of shots with confidence, trying to set the tone early. But within just a few possessions, she bumped into the wall Seattle had built. Every time she lined up a jumper, she found a hand in her face. Anytime she tried to attack the lane, the defense collapsed on her. She wasn't turning corners, she was running right into traps. That confidence faded quick once nothing was coming easy. Storm coach Noel Quinn said afterward that being physical was the goal, and you could see it right away. Brittany Sykes picked her up hard on the outside.
This was one of their best games as far as playing fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. Let's talk about this Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers rivalry. This rivalry to me is a much better one than the Angel Reese Caitlin Clark rivalry because Paige and Caitlin essentially play the same position. They are both at least guards. We saw Natasha Howard running the floor, and that was something that the Indiana Fever was excited about when they brought her into the mix. They called her the Flash for a reason because she is quick and she is speedy and she can get down the length of the court. Paige had a steal off of Caitlin. Caitlin had a steal off of Paige. So like there was some of that back and forth, but there wasn't really two moments where we got that one-on-one.
And forced her to dribble into tight spots. Behind her, the rotation shifted fast. One defender closed out, another cut off the pass, another sealed off the rebound. For Paige, it was like playing in a crowded room with no doors open. The numbers tell the story clean. She finished 2 for 11 shooting, didn't record a single assist, and grabbed just 2 rebounds. A few games ago, she was hitting wide-open mid-range shots and slipping past defenders without much resistance. This time, those windows weren't there. Seattle gave the entire league a clear blueprint for shutting her down. And that's the reality check. Because the pressure that Paige crumbled under is the same test Caitlin Clark survives nightly, which is why Clark's in a lane of her own. That disaster against Seattle wasn't just a tough rookie night. It pulled back the curtain on a spotlight that never matched reality. The hype wasn't earned against pressure, and the Storm showed just how fragile that storyline was once it got tested. So here's the big question. Can there really be a next Caitlin Clark when Clark herself is still rewriting the league in real time? She's proving night after night she can take the physical treatment and still produce. That's not hype, it's results. And that's the difference between being built up and being battle-tested.